Is it a point of belief to believe in miracles? Yes, it is. It's one of the points of Aqidah that we say that وَأَثْبِتًا لِلْأَوْلِيَا الْكَرَامَةِ وَمَنْ نَفَاهُ فَانْبِذًا كَلَامَهُ, as Imam Al-Laqani affirms he says in his text Jawharat al-Tawheed, and affirm for the righteous miracles, and whoever negates them, toss his words aside. So miracles, what is a miracle? It's a breaking of the normal sequence of events, or the normal way in which things occur. And so normally a stick, when you throw it down, it doesn't become a living snake. But it did happen for Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. So you can broadly put, although there are multiple categories of these supernatural events that we call miracles, some are given to prophets as a proof of their prophethood, a proof of their claim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent them with a message. That's one category. And then there are others, for example, there are the preparatory miracles that irhas is called, that come to a person before revelation comes to them, such as the clouds following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a situation where a normal believer can, have something supernatural happen to him or her, in order to help them out of difficulty. That's classed as ma'una, aid, divine aid. And then there's something that can happen, to humiliate someone with a false claim, like Musaylima al-Kadhab. Someone who was blind in one eye went up to him, and he said, Muhammad heals people. I'm blind in one eye. So he said, oh Allah, make his eye like his other one. And he went blind in both eyes. At least it will have saved him from believing in him and going to hell, for following a false prophet. So, but then there's this category of karama, which is an honoring. Allah honoring a righteous believer, a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yes, we affirm the karamat of the awliya. And so, there's many examples of this. Examples in the lifetime of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And just after, for example, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu was on the minbar, and one of the Sahaba was much further away, close to Iran, modern day Iran. And he was about to be ambushed. The believers were about to be ambushed, and so he said, "Ya Sariya al-Jabal," and the Sahaba there heard his voice, and he was in Medina on the minbar giving a khutbah, and so they were able to escape the ambush. And then later, because people thought this is strange, so it stuck in their mind the day and the time. And then when the army returned, they said, oh, we heard Umar's voice. And they said, yeah, we heard him say this. So that's a karama, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him this. And we have other examples of this. We have the man, they say his name was Asif. Allah knows best what his name was. But when Sayyidina Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam wanted the throne of Bilqis to be brought to him, he asked his assembly, people there, and there was a jinn, an ifrit, who said, I'll bring it, before this gathering ends. And then this wali of Allah, Asif, he said, I'll bring it before you can, before you can blink. And فَلَمَّا رَآهُ, it was there. It was right there in front of him. So in the blink of an eye, this wali was given this capability of doing this. And so is it the case? Yes. If something is in and of itself possible, then it's permissible, it's valid, and it can be a karama for a wali. And they say every karama, every honoring for a wali, every miracle for a wali is ascribed back to the Prophet of the ummah who he's from, whose ummah he's part of, because the ability comes from the Allah honoring a person from their iman, and the light of that iman comes from that Prophet. and so it's ascribed back to them. So we've got many examples of this. I have a book here by Shaykh Yusuf al-Nabahani, the great Qadi from Lebanon, who passed away about a century ago, and Jami'u Karamat al-Awliya, the compendium of the miracles of the awliya. He just compiled many together. There's famous books like Qala'id al-Jawahir, a book that talks about the miracles of Shaykh Abdul-Qadir al-Jilani radiyallahu anhu, very famous for his many miracles. So yes, it is possible. It is possible. An example of this is Shaykh Ahmad ibn Ajiba, the great Moroccan saint and scholar. He has a book called Al-Fihrist. It's translated into English. It's called the Autobiography of a Moroccan Sufi. And he's in there, he's talking about his grandfather, who was famous to be... there's a group of the awliya who who seem to be given a rank and the ability to travel great distances quickly. And they call them Ahlul Khutwa, the people of the footstep. One step and they're there. And so every year he used to disappear on Yawm al-Arafah, and he would reappear with some particular bread. No, he'd reappear and people would say, "Where have you been?" And he'd say, "Arafat." And so it seemed like someone didn't believe him. So one year he went and he brought back some bread that's just famous, that they only made it at that time of the year in Arafat, the Hajj time, in that place, and he brought it back to Morocco on the same day. So I mean, we have, for example, Sheikh Salim al-Hammami, this scholar of the Quran from Damascus. I'm sure he's passed away now, and he's very old. I think when he was in his 90s, he was still walking to the mosque, and he used to do a khatam of the Quran every day. Try that one, right? That's a karama in of itself. And so there was a point where he had a heart bypass operation, and under general anesthetic, which is like wow, yeah. It's, I don't know how anyone can even be aware of anything under general anesthetic. But under the general anesthetic, he was reciting the Quran whilst they were operating on him. So figure that one out, right? It's tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes the miracle is to help them, sometimes it's to show their special rank, sometimes it's just to honor them, right? But yes, we do believe in them.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.